Daring to repair a crankshaft broken in two? In our country, you get beaten for that. But in Pakistan, it's a place where everything can be repaired. After inspecting the crankshaft, the craftsman assures that it's not a big problem. For just 2,000 rupees, it can be fixed before nightfall. Before starting the actual repair, the first step is to measure the dimensions of the broken section of the crankshaft to ensure the repaired piece will match the original size exactly. Once the dimensions are clear, the craftsman secures the broken shaft head in a triangular chuck on the car window. After confirming that the shaft head is aligned concentrically, he uses a lathe tool to smooth the broken surface and then creates a chamfer on the end, shaping it into a 45-degree slope. This welding groove design allows for a stronger weld during the next steps. After preparing the surface, the craftsman plans to use a copper-based steel rod as the material to join the two parts of the crankshaft. First, he determines the correct size for the rod, so he knows how much of the shaft head to trim off. Since the shaft head's diameter is slightly smaller than the rod's, he uses a tool to enlarge the inner hole. Once the hole is expanded, the craftsman uses a caliper to ensure precise measurements, making sure the sizes match perfectly. To further strengthen the connection, the inner hole of the shaft head is threaded, which not only ensures concentricity during the joining process, but also makes the connection stronger. Once the threading is completed, the shaft head is ready. Next, the craftsman works on the rod that will join the two parts. Before machining the rod, he measures the diameter and depth of the shaft head's hole to determine the exact size of the rod that needs to be cut. With the accurate measurements in hand, he proceeds with machining the rod. Since the shaft head is already threaded on the inside, the rod needs to be threaded on the outside. To monitor the threading process closely, the craftsman applies marker paint on the contact surface. This helps ensure that the threads are aligned correctly, preventing any issues during the crankshaft's assembly. Once the threads are machined, the remaining material for the other half of the crankshaft is set aside. The craftsman then cuts the required section from the rod and smoothens the cut end, completing the preparation for the joint material. Next, the other half of the crankshaft needs to be processed. Because of the crankshaft's length, a center stand is used to provide additional support, ensuring there is no wobbling during operation. To make sure the alignment is perfect, the craftsman uses a slide gauge to make adjustments. Though this method may look rudimentary, it is very effective. Once concentricity is confirmed, the craftsman smoothens the broken surface. Since the rod has a reserved joint section, the center of the shaft is drilled. The hole's diameter matches the rod's outer diameter. The craftsman uses a larger drill bit to further enlarge the hole. To ensure a smoother inner surface, he uses a tool to shave off the roughness. During this time, he frequently pauses to measure, avoiding excessive removal of material. Once the hole is completed, the craftsman can begin the joining process. He uses a mallet to tap the rod into the crankshaft and then screws the shaft head in place. After joining, the craftsman starts the lathe to check the overall concentricity of the crankshaft. Once the dimensions are confirmed to be accurate, he proceeds with welding. To prevent welding spatter from damaging the rest of the crankshaft, the craftsman wraps the area with a wet towel. For high-quality welding, he pauses after each round of welding to hammer off the slag on the weld sink, preventing any impurities or gaps from forming in the weld. The welding is done layer by layer until the entire seam is completed. After welding is finished, the craftsman carefully grinds the weld to ensure the surface is smooth and consistent with the original factory specifications. However, the crankshaft is still not ready for use. To meet the required standards, the craftsman polishes the entire crankshaft with sandpaper until the surface is as smooth as new. In the end, the crankshaft looks almost indistinguishable from a brand new one. This is truly a remarkable display of skilled craftsmanship. What do you think of the craftsman's repair skills? If the highest score is 10, how many points would you give him?